And they haven't rode it deep as it used to be known, DRD gold now. So it's 113 years old. John, do you think there's another 113 years left in the company?
I'm pretty satisfied there is, actually, Jack. Yeah.
How do you see it changing? I mean, clearly mining has changed an enormous amount in the country over the last 100 odd years. And the sector is definitely a lot older than it used to be. How do you see mining in the country changing?
I see it becoming much more efficient. For example, we use hydraulic jacks underground. We don't use timber, which is also safer as well. I see it becoming much more efficient, a continued focus on cost. And I do believe genuinely there's another geographic Barberton basin under the existing one at about 5,000 meters. And I think you'll probably see people getting quite interested in that at current gold prices.
That's a very far way down the count. Do we have the technology at the moment to mine that deep consistently?
Yes, we do. In fact, in Sweden, you'll find that miners already live underground when they work, and that's probably what you'll have to do at 5,000 meters.
How long would it take to get down 5,000?
Well, that's why the miners would have to work down there, because it'll take all day to get down and all day to get back.
Kind of ups your productivity levels.
Yeah.
But if we look at how it would work, then in terms of DRD's mines, clearly you've got quite a few old mines. How would they change? Are you looking to the future to mine that deep going forward?
Well, we do have one prospect, Ergo, which we're drilling at the moment, which is that deep, but we don't have any yield results at the moment. I think with the existing mines, we've got stability. They're running well. We've put a lot of focus onto costs. And of course, the one thing that DRD Gold has going for it is a surface circuit that produce at about $500 to $550 an ounce. So there's a good margin in that business. And in fact, we're seeing the efficiencies coming through in our underground mines at the moment. Unfortunately, ERPM hasn't turned around. And today we issued a SENS notice that we're entering into negotiations with the unions to reduce the workforce there.
Well, talking about the unions, clearly a major part of your cost as DRD Gold, and I want to get into cost a little bit later, is your workforce. It's about 35% or there and thereabouts. There is a 2-year contract now going forward. Is that set in stone? Can that change given the high food prices, given the rumblings we've heard from unions over the past few weeks around the high price of living at the moment?
Now, we have a contract in place for 2 years, but you must remember there are bonus schemes which do assist the individuals in earning significantly more than their base pay.
And are your union members, are you in negotiations, or not negotiations, but are they feeling the pinch as much as people are expecting them to?
I think we recognize in the settlements we've reached, we recognize the situation. I mean, in ERPM for the RDOs, or operators, they have been behind in the industry. They got a 14% increase.
Why didn't ERPM turn around, or what were the problems there?
It's a difficult ore body, a good ore body, but it's a difficult ore body with a fault running through it, which we're addressing at the moment. And we've moved to a different strategy there. But at the same time, we have reassessed costs, which every manager should do all the time.
Talking about costs, is there any way to really bring them down at this point in time? How much leeway is there?
There is leeway. For example, efficiencies. We were 10% under our previous electricity consumption before Eskom started the issues with their load shedding. So we're saving quite a bit there. There are efficiencies to look at, but we're satisfied that we've got a good handle on our costs.
Is there a tipping point where, in terms of clearly the gold price has come down a little bit, it is a lot higher than most people had expected it to be? Is there a point where you say, okay, these operations are no longer viable at a lower gold price?
It would have to be a very, very low gold price, because our assets are in at around about the $250 to $280 an ounce mark. It's really a question of mining efficiency, which we believe we do pretty well.
How much more efficient can you get?
That's difficult to say, but we think there's as much control required as there is efficiency to come through.
In terms of the gold price itself, clearly the last time I chatted to you, you said you did see a gold price in the $1,000 level. It did get there. It has come down quite a lot. Since then, it's around $880 at the moment. Where do you see it going forward?
We still got 1,000 as a target. We believe it's moving in quite a nice tunnel at the moment. And we think with the problems in the world economy, we'll see 1,000.
Is there, how much of the flexibility or the elasticity in the price comes into play now. With gold prices this high, we're seeing jewelry demand slackening, that sort of thing. Are you concerned that that might go or continue?
No, I think you're bound to see a reaction to the high price of gold, but it's becoming as much a currency of defense as it is a jewelry product. And I think that's going to be quite heavy with the threat of recession coming through, comments from the States and the rest. So we're satisfied the demand is there. At the same time, output is dropping. And of course, we have a wonderful cushion in the dollar-rand exchange rate.
Where do you see that going? Or I'm not asking you to call the currency because that is a $100 million question, but where would you like it as DRD Gold?
I think we would like it at whatever the market requires, because the market recognises the gold price in the rand. So as you will have seen, it strengthened when the gold went to 1,000. It's come off now, gold's come down.
Talking about power, clearly DRD, because of the surface operations, hasn't been as affected as other gold miners by the power cuts. You were under the 10% threshold already. Has that impacted you since then? Have you seen any impact really?
No. We lost some gold when we had to close for safety reasons in January for 5 days. But other than that, all our operations are running productively and within the targets set for them.
Are you happy that you can continue then as normal almost with the 10% reduction that looks certain to go on for a couple of years?
The only thing that we can't call is what happens when winter comes. That's the only thing we can't call. Other than that, it's not really having an effect on our business at all.
How has the interaction between the mines and Eskom been? Has there been a very good relationship so far?
Certainly, I think that if I look at the industry, yes, I think there is. I mean, we all understand the problem. And hopefully Eskom, I do believe, understands how important the industry is to this economy.
And if there is significant load shedding in winter, as some doomsayers have predicted, what might that do to DRD?
Well, our first thing is safety. If we're not satisfied we'll get enough notice of a power out, then I'm afraid we won't be able to operate our mines.
Talking about safety, that has been a big issue in South African mines for a good number of months now. Is it getting better? What's being done to get it better? And how much better can it get?
Well, I think there's a long way to go. I think that our behavioural-based safety programs are really beginning to have an impact. We haven't had a fatality now for a long, long time. And I think that the programs are coming through. But I do think there's a lot that can be done. And one thing we found is safety is a matter of reinforcement. You can't not do it on a regular basis, training.
In terms of the interaction with the Chamber of Mines, there was that safety audit that was proposed. Has that happened? Is it finished? What is the status quo?
Well, Greyfall's been through the safety audit. It's won.
That was the.
So it's won the safety award for 10 years running, and it's now got an award for safety from the government.
And are there likely to be any further safety type audits from the Chamber across the industry, or is that not really moved?
Yes, they can happen any time, and certainly when there is an accident, there is an audit.
Right. And if we look at the other costs, obviously oil, those sorts of things, how is that impacting the business?
Well, oil impacts everything because everything's got to be transported, and that uses energy. So when we look at our forecasting, we have significantly moved up the inflation rate for next year.
And what other challenges do you see on the horizon for DRD Gold?
I think we see we have a string of investments to make for growth, and the trick is to bring those through. The ERPM, we're looking at a new mining. We've got some consultants looking at a new mining method at the moment. We've got the Way Ahead project at Blytheville, which is beginning to bring results, and we've got Ergo, which will come on stream late this year for gold. And that will be a $500 producer, and I think that's a tremendous growth prospect.
Talking about Ergo, in terms of the deal that you have done with Mintails, how big can that get? How many surface operations or tailings operations are there potentially in your site?
There's 1.7 billion tons of material to process.
And how much gold is there likely to be in this?
There's an awful lot. We can't give a precise number because each dump, it's either slime or rock, and the yield is different from each one. So what you will see in the crown operations and Ergo is the yield will go like that. So at times you'll get a tube of gold coming through, at other times you'll get a steady state.
And are you still on track to start by mid-09?
Absolutely.
If we look at But then if we look at the various operations, you are releasing results on the 9th. Are you happy? Is everything on target? What would you, what are you thinking as you go into the third quarter?
Thinking I'm a very happy CEO. Got a good business.
Well, there you have it. John Sayers, a very happy CEO of DRD Gold. That's all from Power Lunch in association with MoneyWeb. We're crossing now to CNBC US for US Squawk Box. CNBC Africa back at 4 p.m. Central African time with Regional Roundup.